Okay, this is just my quick video about Sustainable Development Goals. So what I want you to do is make sure you watch this video by all the celebrities talking about the Sustainable Development Goals. They don't really define them. They just say that how it just demonstrates that it's a global effort. Okay. Here are the symbols that represent the goals, and you can work through and see if you can guess what they stand for. These are the goals, okay? There are 17 goals, and I want to just tell you a little bit about the history of them, okay? Because just if you've not heard of them, then they don't seem to be a big deal. When you do hear about them, then you learn more about them, you understand that actually most of the world is on board with this, and it's just about trying to educate people about these goals for 2030. Okay, now how this started was that back in the 1990s, the Millennium, the year 2000, was a big deal. Like crossing into the year 2000, like, oh my God, what's going to happen in the year 2000? Okay, and the United Nations wanted to set some goals from the year 2000 called the Millennium Development Goals, and there were 8 of them. Okay, and they were set to expire in 2015. And they were very similar to the goals that we see in front of us right now. They're very similar to these 17. Basically, those 8 were split into 17. Okay, they were a little bit different. So the number one, I'm just going to just do one as an example. Number 1 says here, no poverty. So that's no poverty in the world by 2030. That basically means nobody living below $1.25 a day in the world. Okay, so everybody is on more than that, because extreme poverty is considered living on less than $1.25 a day. So the Millennium Development Goals, the goal was to halve poverty, because the idea of no poverty by 2015 was just insurmountable. So halve poverty, and that kind of pattern goes throughout all the goals. Okay, and with the Millennium Development Goals, there's a lot of analysis on how successful they were. Okay. And some were really successful, and some were not so successful. Or some were successful in certain areas of the world, and some were not so successful in certain areas of the world. Okay, and we are not going to talk about the Millennium Development Goals, but I just want you to know the history of the Sustainable Development Goals. So when they expired in 2015, the United Nations were like, right, we're not just going to stop doing this, and we're going to stop progress. So we're going to go into more detail, and we're going to set our goals even higher. So no poverty, zero hunger. You go. Okay. Each of these goals is broken down into many more specific goals, like more smart objectives, okay, which you would have learned about before. So it's not just no poverty. If you actually go to the goal on the actual Sustainable Goals Development Goals website, you will see that it's broken down into specific targets for 2030. Okay, now they were started 2016. They actually kicked off, and so in 2030, we will then say whether successful or whether not successful. Okay, so we've got another 10 years to go. You will see that date, and you can then be one of those people evaluating them and seeing if they were successful or not.